Hello there, good peoples of the internet. Today I have Pavol Losonsky with me, who is a former professional basketball player who played for the Slovakian national team, and he won several awards as an athlete. And after his retirement from sports, he turned his career around and became a professional mental coach for high performers, specifically for high performing leaders. Welcome to the show, Pavel.
Thank you very much for having me, Mike.
Pleasure to have you on board.
I don't think nobody has ever introduced me better than you, not even in the sports career.
All right, maybe I'll consider career as a sports commentator. I'm more into the mental side of things now as well. As you know, I was heavily into sports myself, and I'm more into the mental performance. That's how I got into this myself. So that's why I find your journey specifically very interesting about how you transitioned from professional sports to helping high performers. So, what is it that you're currently helping your clients with?
Well, it's pretty much the mental game. Physically, just like in sports, you know what you should do every single day, right? But your mind is sometimes the barrier that you need to overcome. Your mind is something that holds you back in many scenarios. And so this is kind of the my expertise is okay. How can we take you from current functioning and elevate you to new heights? That's what I'm pretty much working on with my clients. Everybody brings a different agenda, of course. Some are struggling with their confidence or they're not having discipline. Also, we work on some routines, daily routines or strategies. Sometimes it's about energy management or time management. So, different things that different people come to me with. But overall, I'm trying to enhance or advance their current performance to a different dimension.
Thank you for sharing that. So, what is the most common issues that these high performing leaders are having?
Well, it must be the confidence and discipline. These two themes are super big. We can even ask ourselves, like, what would we try to achieve if we were more confident? And this is kind of the question that even stays with me sometimes. We're always playing within our comfort zone. We're always playing on the playground that we know too well. And seeing the outside of the fence, the uncertainty, all those capabilities outside of the fence, that's what frightens us. So of course it's easy to stay within the court, but that's not where the growth happens. That's not where we advance. That's not where we can achieve those ultimate goals if we stay within the ground. We have to climb over the fence and face the unknown and face the uncertainty, face our fears.
I fully understand that. However, I would like you to explain to the viewers what's the parallel between sports. So, when you consider, for example, basketball, like your background, you always play on the same basketball court and under the same rules. So, how does this manifest itself in sport?
Honestly, I wouldn't say that you always play on the same court, especially in my case. I left my home when I was 18, and since 18, I kind of feel like I haven't had a home court. I never used the home court advantage because I had to adapt, I had to be flexible. So I wouldn't even call that I found a home court. And maybe that's why I thrive now as a businessman or as a coach, or I was thriving as a professional athlete because I would not define my home court. Any court that I stepped on, I was trying to make it my home. And that's what people need to understand, that you can be fine with your life right now. You can be fine with your playground right now, your court, or you can try to discover those other courts and try to learn and adapt your game to those other courts.
Right, I get that. When I asked, I was more referring to like the court is identical, even though we talk about home court and away with the different audience, but the playing field and the rules itself are identical, right? Or is there a significant difference?
To be honest, every single court is different. It may look for an outsider, but the floor is different. Whether it's sticky, it may be slippery, it may be hardwood. Also, referees, the way they referee the game is always different. And this is just like life. Throws a bunch of different obstacles every single day. And you need to be able to handle. You need to be able to get on the floor and be prepared mentally and physically to deliver and block all the outside noise. Imagine you are being on the floor and there is 15,000 people in the stands watching every single move. watching you how you perform, how you behave, your body language. And now these three referees, they're calling a bunch of bullshit calls. Sorry for my language. And also some rivals, they're trying to trash talk and just get under your skin. And this is life. You need to handle all of this. You need to be ready.
I feel like the outside noise is such a huge issue these days. There is so much distractions when you want to achieve something. And I feel like people have more options than they ever had before. And just this abundance of options that we have, it creates so much distractions because ultimately to be good at something, you have to pick one thing or you have to direct your focus because when you diversify your focus, you can't achieve great things. It's several different things at the same time. So that's I feel like that could be a huge challenge. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree with you, Mike. It's never been more difficult than it is now. All those possibilities we have. Of course, it's great to have options, but our brain is not built for processing that many opportunities every single day. And in sports, it's pretty easy. Like all those successful athletes, they knew their goal. It was specific, it was tangible, and they didn't care about nothing else. The other day, I wrote a post on LinkedIn and I was quoting Kobe Bryant, and he once said, just get in your lane and everything outside of the lane, don't care about. And this is the focus that we are missing right now in this world because, just like you said, there are too many options, too much distractions. And so the parallel from sports to business or to just common living life, that's how do you block all those distractions? How do you stay focused? And I believe this is one of the most important skill to work on these days is just stay focused. And I see so many of my clients, they come to me and they have huge goals, but they catch themselves scrolling on LinkedIn for 2 hours. I'm like, how is that benefited you reaching your goal? Or, we all have only 24 hours. It's the question, how do you use those 24 hours?
I fully agree with you, but I always find this very paradoxical because obviously these podcasts are on social media as well. And I always like to say, is a knife good or bad? It's how people use it because people can use social media and all these platforms for learning, for networking, for building relationships, etc. That can be meaningful, but you need to understand the purpose and what is actually benefiting you and what is aligned with your goals and what is procrastination, perhaps.
Absolutely.
But good insights, though. I appreciate that. So, what would you advise anyone who is listening? How can they stay focused? How can they cut out the outside noise that you experience in sports when people are trash talking you, where people are shouting stuff at you, maybe like the away audience is booing you, etc., and you still need to perform under these extreme circumstances?
Once again, I'm going to use the sports analogy, and that's keeping your eyes on the prize. You need to know what your trophy is, what your trophy means for you. And once you see that trophy, just keep your eyes on the trophy the whole time. Of course, there are going to be days when you wake up and you may not see it clearly, but you still know what you're trying to achieve. And it's not like your goal shouldn't change every single week just because you wake up in a bad mood or your wife screams at you because you didn't do dishes, right? Your goal should be and should stay the same. And this is, well, the first thing is just being clear on who you want to become, who you want to be, and what you want to achieve within the next year, within the next 3 years, 5 years. The time maybe depends on you, but you need to know. And it's not like if you're changing your goals, then most likely you will not achieve any goal. If you have one specific goal and you work on that goal every single day by pushing yourself by small bit every single day, then guarantee you in period of 1 to 5 years you'll achieve that goal. It's that simple.
I fully agree with you. It really deeply resonates with me what you just said, and I think it's common knowledge as well. This 10,000 hour rule that anything you dedicate 10,000 hours to, you become exceptionally good at, or way above the average. And it's just honing in on the one thing. But how can people cut out the distraction? Like, what does it specifically help them on the daily life when they have, oh, here's another option. I could do this instead, or I could do this instead. Like, how can they hone in on the one thing?
Well, first, they need to know what that one thing is. And also, you can suck at 10 different things in your life. You can really be really bad at 10 things. You can be probably average in six. You can be good at three things, but you can only excel in one. And now the question for you is okay, who you want to be? You want to be the guy known for sucking at 10 different things, or you want to be the guy being good at three, or you want to be the guy that everybody knows just because you're a freaking master in one? And so this is the thing. You need to answer this question for yourself first. And once you answer this question for you, then okay, just build your routines for that thing to happen. And it comes back to just simplify. Don't overload yourself with a bunch of other things. If I know I want to be a great speaker, then of course my day should include some speaking exercise, some studying the best speakers out there. It should be working on my speaking skills, and it also should be some, I don't know, recovery, self-care, whatever. And I don't do nothing outside of family, kids, and friends. But it's not like I'll be messing around trying to learn how to play a piano. No, that is out of the lane. My lane is to become a great speaker.
Well, I mean, if you sing along on the piano, that's different. That can help your vocal cords, right?
It's 3 in 1, yeah, in that case.
No, but great analogy, and I fully agree with you. It's good you put it out there so bluntly and so transparently. Are you this hard on your clients also?
Well, to be honest, it's not a bed of roses with me. Of course, sometimes I do need to help and support more, but I'm challenging. That's the only way for them to move from point A to point B. Sometimes you need to be provocative, sometimes you need to be more challenging, and sometimes all I need to do is just mirror, just hold a mirror, and it's like, well, this is what's happening. Like, look, like you are telling me you want to achieve this, but your actions are not actually, you are not walking the talk. This is your mirror. Like, okay, just be honest with yourself. I'm trying to share my expertise. I'm trying to coach, the peer coaching. I'm trying to mentor and teach. I think that's the only way. You need to be tough with your clients sometimes, but that's for them to achieve their goals. I mean, when I was growing up and being a professional athlete, I'm sorry, but nobody was nice to me. Everybody was challenging the heck out of me. But I'm very thankful for them now because I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Actually, one of my favorite coaches is Tim Grover. I'm sure you know him. I really like his style. It's very unique and very interesting. He was obviously a very famous mental trainer for basketball athletes specifically, and his style really resonates with him. And he's also a very challenging, very direct character. I absolutely love his work.
Who inspires me in what?
In the field of coaching, in personal development.
You know what? It's nothing unusual for me because as a professional athlete, well, the story began in my third professional year when I burned out as a professional basketball player, and I see for help, and I hired my first mental coach and my mentor. And since my life has gone to different heights, I became a better basketball player, I became a better father and husband. And since that point, it just made sense. And I kind of found that in myself too, that I want to be the one for others. So it was kind of the natural transformation, I would say. It found me through me, and I saw the power of coaching and of the transformation. So it just naturally evolved. When I was thinking about my passion, what I'd like to do after I'm done playing basketball, it was no brainer. It's like, okay, I want to go into this field. I want to be coaching people and I want to be changing lives.
So, what has helped you specifically to transition your skills and your mindset from professional sports to going into mental coaching and performance coaching?
Well, I do have all those personal traits that I'm carrying over from basketball. It's like the discipline, the confidence, the getting up in the morning and studying and doing all those steps necessary for me to succeed. So that wasn't a problem in my case at all. What I was struggling with was the other side, and it's the business part, because I've never, as a professional athlete, I was not a startup founder building companies or businesses. So I was struggling lots of information and knowledge. So of course I needed some professional help, somebody helping me build my business in first place, then explain all those things that happened behind closed door. So I started to work with the startup coach and mentor on my business side, and then of course it's pretty normal for me to have my coach or somebody also who is going to challenge my perspectives and ideas. So I'm also another guy, two guys and one lady. So the other one is just challenging my ideas and he's coaching me hard. He's really being challenging with me. And the other one is just helping me with my coaching. So I'm currently working with three people. I'm investing in myself. I've been doing it since I can remember as a professional athlete. So it's nothing unusual to do right now as a coach, businessman, and entrepreneur. And this is kind of the trio that is helping me achieve my goals and dreams, really.
That's really interesting insight that you shared. A lot of people try to do everything themselves and expect great results, and it's just so insightful to hear that you actually have a team of people helping you on the different aspects of your business, of your service. And I know that you very quickly, very rapidly grew when you started out as a coach, and you very rapidly overtook even more established coaches who've been in the industry for even a decade or longer. What would you say was the one thing that helped you?
Look, even in sports, like individuals may win some games, but teams win championships. You can learn, you can watch YouTube videos, you can read books, you can even try to learn how to play the game of basketball. Would you be good at it? Maybe, I don't know. If you just go out there and work on your craft every single day, would you become a professional athlete? Well, most likely not. How far would you get? Maybe you would be an average street baller. So now the question is, okay, you need some external help, you need some professionals. So to answer your question, I wouldn't scale, I wouldn't build my business if it wasn't for the help of others. And I understand the success is in a team setting. One head, one brain knows only so much. Two brains know more. Three, even more. And four, successful formula in my eyes.
That's a really interesting insight. And following up on this, would you actually recommend coaching for startup founders and early stage entrepreneurs who are just starting out? Do you think like this mental coaching and performance coaching is something that they need also, or is it more for high level corporate people?
I think anybody can benefit from mental performance. It doesn't matter who you are, it depends what are your goals. If your goals are to learn how to make a better coffee in the morning, then most likely you don't need to invest in nothing. If your goal is to create something, to build something, and you find yourself fighting with your doubts every single morning you wake up, there's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of competition. I feel like I'm behind. You're already wasting so much time and energy just fighting your demons off. Imagine waking up with energy. It's like, yeah, I got this. Okay, it's going to be hard, but I got this. And now you just didn't waste the first hour of your day. You know exactly that you are confident. You know exactly what you need to do. You have those routines supporting your goal. So, of course, I honestly believe anybody could benefit from it, but it's my self belief, of course.
So, if anybody can benefit from coaching, why do you think coaching gets such a bad reputation these days?
Well, there is two definitions of coaching, right? Okay, coaching as a term. Well, 20-year-old kids, and I'm not trying to discredit nobody, but just because you are 20 and you visited three countries and now you're trying to coach people how to travel, come on. Well, there is a difference. Okay, if you have your expertise and you are trying to coach somebody and teach somebody the expertise you have, you can probably call yourself a coach. Then there is a coaching, the ICF type of coaching that is creating insights, that's shifting your perspective, that's many other things. So the reputation is, well, coaching itself is the fastest growing industry at the moment. So of course, huge competition and people themselves. Some of my clients actually came to me and it's like, well, no, I know I've done coaching before. It's not for me. And what I found out later, because we tried, I offered some pro bono sessions and then I signed them as my clients. And what I realized, or what we realized, they were not coached. They were having some consultations, they were being mentored, they were being told what to do. And this is not coaching, this is just telling.
I was just asking, what is coaching exactly?
Well, I think everybody has different definition. What I'm trying to do with my clients is to create different insights for them. 80% of their answers are their own answers that they have somewhere deeply within. They just haven't dove deep enough to find those secrets or those answers. And also 20% is probably just mentoring when they ask me how I build my confidence, what I do for my routines, discipline. And so 20% I would not even call coaching, is probably just I'm being their mentor.
And how would you say coaching, like mental coaching, compares to coaching in sports? So obviously you had your coaches in the sports team, right? And I'm sure you had mental coach as well. So how does the two compare? What are the parallels or the overlap and the differences between the two?
The sports coaching is kind of specific because athletes, we have high ego. That's one thing that we don't want to be told a lot of times. But to answer your question, I don't know, just using different examples helped me a lot, or just shifting my perspective, just using some analogies, some using some stories, so I could see what's happening in my life, but through some other story. And then naturally, I was able to take a step back, look at the situation and my situation from different perspective. Of course, take a deep breather so I could kind of, gather myself and just found answers all of a sudden. It was sitting right in front of me, but just because I was too close, I was not seeing those answers.
So what are the overlaps? What's similar in sports coaching and in mental coaching?
I have no idea. I don't really see the difference between the sports mindset or the business mindset. To me, there is only one mindset. Are you ready or are you not?
Thank you for sharing that. That's really insightful. What's the vision for your coaching business? Where do you want to take your coaching company?
I have some ambitious goals in terms of Slovakia. Of course, I'm trying to create a brand of the championship, a brand here in Slovakia. I'm from Slovakia and I returned after 16, 17 years being away. So Slovakia is a small country. There's a lot of great coaches already here established, but I believe I can become one of them. And also, I want to be recognized for my sports background. I also do want to deliver some speeches, and I have already. So this is kind of my goal, to build up my business here in Slovakia while I'm also coaching people from abroad. That's kind of the goal that I'm working towards right now.
And who would you say you could help the most?
Over the past 2 years, I've been working with a bunch of different people, bunch of athletes, high performers, some architects, people that they were just scared to take the stage. Then I kind of transitioned into the business world more. So I started to work with the managers, senior managers, or even executive managers, some directors. I've been in the sports for the past 28 years. I kind of felt like I was playing on the home court and I was just curious to step outside. So I was leaning more towards the business world, and that's where I kind of transitioned into. I still have some athletes, but I'm trying to shift it more towards the business leaders. That's where I kind of feel like I'm being on the edge because I am a high achiever and I never like to play within the comfort zone. So, learning and seeing what they struggle with in the business world and their challenges. And it makes me also educate myself in that way and also trying to find solutions for them. And it's something that really excites me right now because sports world I just know too well, and it was just not challenging enough for me, and I was trying to step outside of that comfort zone, and that's where I found myself. I have my motivation from right now is just to study and understand the business world as much as I can.
So what do these business leaders get out of working with you?
Well, you have to ask them. Everybody gains something different. But recent feedbacks were the confidence in taking action, also being clear, just seeing their trophies ahead. It's like, well, if you want to be director, you want to be promoted, then what needs to happen? Like, do you even know? Like, they usually know the criteria that their company has, but they have no idea what it takes on the personal level. You are a leader, leading position, and people are leaving your team just because they don't want to work under you. They rather work for a different leader. This is already a sign of you not leading your team properly. What's happening? I'm not going to say that I know what they should do as leaders, but I know how they should behave as leaders. And this is the difference.
That's a great insight about the leadership. Obviously, like in the team, there is a team captain. You come from a team sport background, whereas I was more on an individual sport level in martial arts. It's a very lonely place to be in a ring or in an arena against an opponent. That's a very lonely place. But of course, the coach is somewhere there at the back screaming at you. Different experience. But in the team sport, I think you understand this better about how to manage a team, how to coordinate a team, and how to create harmony. Have you had any clients who changed careers as a result?
I was working with people trying to leave the corporate world and start solopreneurs and freelancers. But as far as leaving the company, no, just we work on different promotions, and those people that I was working with, fortunately, they got their promotion. So very happy for them.
Okay, so if these high performing leaders who are looking for confidence, better ability to speak, to lead their teams better, and to have a more focused mindset towards their goals, to identify their trophies, would like to reach out to you and work with you, where could they find you, Pavel?
Well, I'm posting on LinkedIn 5 times a week. A lot of people are already following me there, and I'm growing my business on LinkedIn. And of course, I have my website, b2d.com, and they can just reach out to me through my business email and reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm the most active.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Pavel.
Thank you very much for this podcast.
Thank you.